This is our chocolate.
You heard the man. Alright. Look at this guy. So this is the cylinder. So right, so they don't leak everywhere.
What's up guys, Ryan here with RCG Diesel Equipment. So today, we got a call pretty early this morning. We got a steering assist failure on a big 980M loader. I know you guys like them loaders. You like equipment. I can tell by my subscribers. We're at like 1700, around in that range, and it's going up. So get on board, guys. Apparently somebody's liking it. I'm gonna go over here. I've never done this before. I haven't seen this code before, but I got my computer and I got some SIS software. So we're gonna do a little studying, maybe use our melon a little bit, or we might just go over there and it's unplugged and we're good to go. We got the computer to guide us in the right direction. You guys stick around. We're either gonna sink or float. We'll see what happens.
So I got this cat ET dongle here. You got to have this for auxiliary equipment. We're gonna hook up right here. Boop. Thing says shut down safely. So we got a code 2201-4. Steering fault. It still steers, but something's not reading right. So we're gonna get in with our computer, figure this one out, hopefully. So up here on the top side, we're gonna click, what is this? Active diagnostic codes. It's gonna pull this one up. 2201-4, right steering cylinder. If we go down to the bottom here, we're gonna hit troubleshoot code. You gotta have this cat SIS. So you have to have internet access. Pulls up the code for us. 2201-4. That's your address and all kinds of fun stuff. Position sensor, voltage below normal. Ooh, let's click on this one. Some kind of test. Let's do it. So now we get to read through all this fun stuff. Implementing. Okay, so on this SIS website, here's your DTCs right here. Right there. You see it says DTCs, code description. So we're gonna, this one's 350-3. Well, what was our code? 2201-4. So we're gonna scroll all the way down to the right code. There it is, 2201-4, right steering cylinder. Alright, let's read through some of this stuff. Alright. Here's what we got. So we got the FMI4 right here. This is the FMI4. This is how you diagnose these sensors. So the first step is the sensors failed. That's one of the causes. Sensor signal circuit machine harness is shorted to ground. Okay, we'll check some of that. The ECM has failed. An ECM failure is unlikely. I do agree with that. So first thing we can check is the sensor circuit in the harness. We're going to check that real quick, make sure we got voltage there, and then it's probably the sensor in the cylinder. That's what I think. It's a potentiometer in this cylinder. So let me scroll through some of this other stuff that I got up here. See, there's our code right there. 22 position voltage below normal and all this good stuff. You read through all that stuff. It's got the sensors of pulse width modulation, some fancy stuff. You cannot measure it with a voltmeter, it says in here. You got to do it with a process meter, I do believe. I'm not going to do that. Okay, so this is kind of cool right here. So let me show you this, guys. So this is the cylinder. So right here is where our power plug comes in. There's a power, it'll have voltage on one pin, ground on another, and then it has a signal, so it knows where the cylinder's at. So this is the sensor right here. It's built into this cylinder, and it has a rod. You can kind of see it. My finger would get out of the way. There's a rod in here for the hydraulic, but there's a rod for the sensor that goes all the way in here, and that's how it gets its reading where this cylinder is at. That's how it knows where to steer at, if it's oversteering, you know. And then whenever it has an issue, it's going to go ding ding ding, you know, there's a fault and your steering is jacked up, you know. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to check power at these pins, and if everything looks good, I'm gonna check one side, I'm gonna check the other just to make sure they match up. I'm gonna check the wiring just real quick, take a little gander at it. The code is a solid active, it's not intermittent, it's active, it's not going away. So whatever's shorted, we should be able to find it if it's there. And if not, then this sensor right here has failed. I've seen these fail before, not on this type of unit, but I've seen them fail on other units. So I believe it's the cylinder, just saying. So I think we're gonna be taking the cylinder off. We'll see. I'm gonna check power real quick. We'll get back with you. This is your cylinder right here. It looks a lot smaller in the video, but it's big. It goes way back in there. There's our connector right there for our power port right here. It's our plug, it's up there. I took it off. We got same voltage on both sides. Wiring, all that stuff looks good. So we're gonna be ripping this cylinder out. Now, by the looks at it, I'm gonna have to turn this all the way to the left so I can get this thing out of here. That's what it looks like to me. Or I'm gonna have to collapse it. I'll have to cap some lines. Machine turned all the way to the left here. I think we're gonna be able to suck this cylinder in. Yank her out of there. I'm gonna pull these pins, get these self greasers out of the way. Looks like there's plenty of grease in there. That's good. Maybe the pins will come out easy. Let's get started. Oh yeah, way in here. So we broke these lines loose right here. Let them drain a little bit. You gotta be really careful with these lines. You know, I can't say it enough. Whenever you're messing with these lines, man, you gotta be careful. You gotta make sure all the pressure's off of them. If it's leaking, you could kind of tell. Sometimes you can't, but you gotta be careful, because I've seen it. I don't know how many times people take lines off and either the arm or whatever they're taking off will drop as soon as they take that line off, and it kills somebody. It'll cut freaking people in half. It ain't, hydraulics do not forgive you. They're gonna hurt somebody if you're not safe. So you gotta support the stuff. You gotta, don't just take the line off if it's still leaking real bad, or if it's got pressure on you. You kind of wiggle back and forth and kind of tell. But still, that line will blow off and that line will hit you. Hydraulic will spray in you. I've never seen that before, but it happens. I've seen people that it's happened to, but I've seen lines blow off because it's so much pressure under them, and the line came back and hit them in the ankle, hit them in the leg. You know, you don't want that stuff hitting you, man. It's coming off fast. So I like to let those things drain a little bit. They're not leaking right now, so I don't think there's any pressure, but you still got to be careful. Don't just go taking stuff off. You cat guys and hydraulic people, you know what I'm talking about. You've seen this stuff before, but let me get into what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna plug some of these lines, so let me show you this little kit that I got. So this is the kit that I have. This is for flat face, I don't know, flange, whatever you call them, flat face plugs, cap and plug set. It's gonna be real handy because I'm just gonna plug these lines so they don't leak everywhere. These are a little dirty, and I haven't used them in a while. I got a GIC plug kit too. Well, pretty handy. Nice to have on the truck when you need them, especially if you're doing a lot of hydraulic equipment stuff. You can just cap the line instead of sticking a little rubber plug in it and blowing out, falling out, and then, you know, you come back to the unit and it's got hydraulic oil everywhere. But that's what it's going to look like. It's got a little O-ring in there. We got our plugs, we got our caps. We're going to cap it up. So we got that pin out of there. Doesn't look too bad. Cylinder looks like it's gonna come out pretty easy. These pins, you always want to check the grooves on them. See how, if there's any grooves. This unit has an auto greaser on it. That's what all these lines right here are for. It's to grease it. It greases it on its own. Really simple, awesome system. Saves the pins. So the pins look actually pretty good. We got our fluid draining back here. Just gonna drain this cylinder out. We got our lines capped, capped, or plugged, I should say. The cylinder's not capped yet. I'm gonna let it drain a little bit before I cap it. I'm just gonna let it drain. Just start disconnecting stuff. Get these auto greasers out. Get our power wire, which goes back in here. So whenever it's done draining, we can just zip, yank her out. See what happens. Okay, so what I'm about to do So I got this really cool telescope and pry bar here with a flex head on it. Pretty neat. I'm gonna stick it in the front side of the cylinder. Push that cylinder back until I can get a chain hoist in there and push it the rest of the way back. It's gonna drain some fluid when I do this, so I'm gonna go easy, let it drain in my drain pans. We'll see how it goes. It might not work out at all. There's got to be an easier way. It's going. It's going. Okay, that made a little bit of a mess. I'm gonna have to clean some stuff up there. So now that I got this cylinder collapsed all the way, that's where it went. That's where it is now. We got it collapsed all the way in, as you can tell. I'm gonna put the caps on the other side now, so it doesn't leak anymore, and then I'll take that back pin out. I'm going to cap these fittings here. Then I'll be able to pull this pin right here out of here. It's got a little bolt there. I already took it loose. Took our greaser loose. We're going to pull this pin straight out. And this cylinder is coming out, guys. Okay, with a little persuading, I got the cylinder pin out. Let me show you real quick. All right. She coming out. She coming out. I'm just going to set it right there. The cylinder's starting to come out. I had to put a little come along thingy on here. I don't know, these are handy. A little ratchet strap looking thing. Anyway, she's ready to come out. Let's see what happens. It looks pretty heavy. Think I can get it? I don't know. I can't get my crane in here. I'd use my crane. But it ain't going to happen. That wasn't too bad. You gotta breathe when you do stuff like that. You don't have a hernia. So there's our cylinder. Check it out. Pretty cool. The potentiometer. There's electrical wires for the potentiometer. It's built in. You can't take this thing apart right here on the backside. Some of them you can take apart on the backside and replace it. But this one you gotta take the whole chingazo out. And we're not gonna do that. I don't mess around with that stuff very much. And I'm not gonna do it on this one. This is a good customer of mine and I don't want to ruin it. So I sent it to the specialist. They got money anyway. Anyway, yeah. One more cylinder. Cool. So we'll send this one out for rebuild. Glad that's over with. I think the install won't be too bad. As long as it fixes the problem. If it doesn't fix the problem, then, well, we're gonna have to come up with something else. But this cylinder is gonna get sent out for rebuild. Well, they're going to reseal it while they have it apart. They already have the potentiometer. They're going to do the old swapperoo. Get this sucker back on the dirt, I guess. Always disconnect your power source. Put a lockout on this stuff. Lock it out right here so nobody messes with it. I want somebody starting this thing up with those hoses I mean, it probably wouldn't do anything, but still, you don't want nobody starting it up. If you left the cap a little loose, you'd be leaking hydraulic everywhere. Just don't go that route. Anyway, we got our new cylinder, guys. Look at that right there. Fresh from rebuild. They replaced the sensor in here, I hope. It looks like still the old cable, but they replaced the sensor, hopefully. We got to do some cleaning here. There's all of our hardware. It doesn't look like anybody messed with anything, which is nice. Yeah, we'll do some cleaning. Clean these pins up real good. Get all the dirt and stuff out of this area, so I don't cause any problems. Yeah, all right. Let's get after it. It's just a beautiful morning, guys. Beautiful morning. Let's get to work now. Let's go in with this sucker. I think I'm gonna put the back pin in first. Makes sense, just so it doesn't walk around. Put my strap in the front. See how it goes. Clean these pins up, nice and shiny, especially around here. You wanna clean those up, so when they go in, they don't catch on anything. That's why it's beveled. So they'll slide in place. Kind of give them a little love tap if you need to. Okay, we're getting our back pin in here. Give it a little love tap. So I got everything lined up with like a pry bar and, you know, moving this thing around. Knock our back pin in. Ooh. Nice. That slid right into place without fighting it. So we got a bolt to put here with a big washer so the pin doesn't walk up. We'll put our grease line on, put our hoses on here in a little bit. We might have to take these caps loose here so we can pull that cylinder out. We got our electrical pigtail here. We got to hook up and bolt up. Not too bad. As you can tell here, I'm kind of in this little hole. Check it out. There's a cylinder right in there. You got the big tire right here. I had to get skinny while I was getting in here. There ain't much room, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so what we have to do is we got to pull this cylinder out so we can put our front pin in. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to take the caps off the back so it won't create a vacuum and I can pull it out. I might have to use my pry bar or something like that to pull. We'll see how it goes. We got our caps off. we got her lined up pretty good, I think. We might have to do a little wiggling back and forth. We'll see how it goes. Let me give it a little tap. Oh, look at that, slid right into place. Pretty nice. All right, well, look at that. Cylinder in. Electrical connector. Okay, we got our we got our hoses on here. So we can go ahead and snug them up. Ooh. One more down here. There we go, right there. Now you can see it. Just snug these up pretty tight so they don't come loose. Replace your O-rings. These are flat face flange O-rings. Sometimes they're JSE. Cat uses a lot of flat face. Okay, we got our pin in. We got our lube line on. We got electrical thingamajig hooked up. We got our bolt in our pin. We got our lines hooked up. They are hooked up correctly. You don't want to be mixing those up. We'll be zigging when we should be zagging. Alright, let's see. What else we got? Okay, now it's time to fire this puppy up. We got everything installed here. We got our pins, our cylinder, all this good stuff. Everything's ready to go. We're gonna fire it up, see what it does. Maybe cycle it back and forth, let that cylinder fill up really good with hydraulic fluid. We're gonna check for leaks. We're gonna make sure that code went away. You know, that's why we came out here, remember guys? So we gotta make sure the code went away. Let's go check it out. Remember, we cut our power off, so we gotta cut our main switch back on. This is the button for the door, to open the door. I freaking love that, that is so cool. Anyway, alright, we're gonna fire it up here. We got our key turned. I'm gonna turn the air down so you guys can hear. Turn it off because it's freaking loud. What's going on? Why don't we start? Okay, so I was trying to figure out why this thing isn't starting. And if you see right here, it says starter disabled, place in neutral. So I had to put the joystick down, put it in neutral. Okay, now she's happy. Let's fire it up and see what happens. All right, look at that. Whew, man, that kind of scared me for a second. I thought I was gonna have to be troubleshooting something else. I already troubleshooted this thing enough. Anyway, well, let's check these codes out. Well, what do we got here? There's no code, nothing. Maybe we should turn it back and forth though, just in case. To turn these back and forth, I don't remember. Oh, this is your bucket. Okay, so I'm gonna go up with the bucket. Oh, okay, okay. Oh, try not to hit my truck. That wouldn't be cool at all. And I'm gonna, oh, that sucker's turning, that's for sure. Okay, look around, make sure I ain't gonna hit nothing. Okay, okay. You know what, while it's turned all the way to the right, I think I'm gonna get it out and check it. Yeah, I'm gonna get out and check it. Okay, what I'm looking for is anything in a bind, anything like that. Check, make sure our hoses are good. Everything looks legit. I just like making sure everything's not in a bind. Like whenever you turn to the right, to the left, make sure it's not hitting and it's about to break off. And look, you're gonna look stupid on Monday morning. When there's leaking hydraulic fluid everywhere, you gotta replace a bunch of fittings, and you rip the hose off. And anyway, we'll try to avoid that. Our code went away, guys. That's what I'm talking about. We got nothing on the dash here. Oh yeah.
Well, I hope you guys like this one. It's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about it. We came, we solved, we conquered. Customer's gonna be happy. They get to run this machine without any issues, with knowing it's gonna steer to the right and to the left and not break down at the pit. It's pretty cool. Anyway, if you like this kind of stuff, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share some of this stuff, comment down below, tell me your story. You ever done one of these cylinders before? Did I do it right? Did I do it wrong? What experience did you have with it? Some of you cat guys chime in. I like hearing from my cat guys. Anyway, hope you guys like this one. If you didn't, I'm sorry. If you have no idea what I'm doing, that's cool too. Just keep sticking around. Watch some of this stuff. You'll figure it out eventually. Anyway, guys, hope you liked it. Until next time, see you on the next one. Peace out.